my name is Natalia and I'm coming to you from Denmark, and this is my knitting podcast when I talk about the project what I knit and what I'm actually knitting, and yeah, my knitting plan, all about knitting. Yeah, we have some rainy day today, but I decide that I will podcast and will try to get some natural light from the window, so I'm again recording from my sofa because that's the most windows are located right near that. Yes, so I will start with what I'm wearing. I basically was just wearing black t-shirt, but I decided because I'm podcasting I should show up some of my shawls what I need previously. And this one is Exploration Station by Steven West. I think that was like a second shawl what I ever knit. And first also was by Steven West and also was in blue tones. So yeah, that was what I was going back that time for, but I still like it. I use mostly not super wash yarns for this, and I use light fingering weight yarn. So my is slightly smaller as normally people have it. When I just blocked that was quite big, but now it's a little smaller. But I really like it. It's comfortable to wear. It's not extremely too big, and it's nice to wear like always cold in the winter or just with a jeans jacket when it's warmer. So yeah, I like the shape and I like colors, and I talked about this shawl before yet in some previous podcast, and there's also more information about what colors I use and what yarn on my project page on Ravelry, and some picture of that. My finished object you always can find on Instagram. I know that not everyone uses Ravelry anymore, but yeah, Ravelry and Instagram, it's probably the place where you can find the pictures of my project. But if you have some questions about this or some another project what I'm showing, don't hesitate and just drop a message and I will respond to that as I can. So yeah, that's about what I'm wearing, and now I will show the project what I finished, and I will start with the biggest and most excited, and this is my half and half triangle robe. I finished it. I just couldn't let it down and knit on something else. I just continued as much as I could every time I had a time for knitting. I picked up this project and continue until I finish it. So yeah, last time when I was showing you this, I was finished with this. Cannot show this on the camera probably. In this pink part, and I already was knitting this gray color. I don't know how it's coming on the camera, if it's right. It's like warm gray color. It's not cold gray color, but this light gray color. So yeah, when you do a gray part, if I remember right, your row is growing or getting smaller. Yes, your row is growing. You pick up with the small triangle and then bigger and bigger because you're working in show rows. Yeah, so to the end it already was long rows and a lot to knit, but I finished this. I literally have a really small amount of yarn left, but I'm really happy with how it's turned out. It's really big. It's extremely big. I probably cannot imagine myself in using this every day. Like, yeah, eye jacket and this thing on top him. Probably that's something what will not gonna happen, but I use this last weekend when we was going to the sea, to the beach, I used that and it was really warm. I don't know if people was looking weird at me, but or no, but yeah, it's basically like a Karen blanket. Yeah, but I really like this, and that was nice project to knit, and I'm really happy that I finished this. I'm happy about the colors what I pick up. It's not something what I always going for. I think that's first pink thing what I made for myself, but yeah, cannot wear just green and blue all the time. Or maybe I can, but should I? Yeah, so I'm really happy about how it turned out. I didn't weigh how much it weighed because I don't think I actually can properly do this on a kitchen scale. It's quite big. But yeah, I had a problem with this yarn. I used the yarn what is not produced anymore. That was a Sock It yarn by you can buy in Garnon Salg shop, and they discontinued this yarn, so you cannot buy this anymore. And almost every skein of yarn had less than 100 gram. So it's really hard for me to tell how much exactly I use because I was weighing the pink skins, but after I found out that all of them have less, that I didn't hesitate to do this with gray anymore. I just knew that they were smaller, and yeah. So that's what I get. Really happy with results, and will I need one more? Probably no. Maybe in a while, and maybe small size. Yeah, I don't really like to knit gather stitch. I think when you knit when you do just knit rows all the time, I don't really like this. So that wasn't the best project for me to knit, but that was simple knit and I like finished objects, so I was doing this to basically finish this and to have it, and I'm happy that now I have it. Maybe someday, as I said again, maybe someday I will make smaller versions, but for now I'm happy with that, and I think that I will have something warm to have when we're going to see, uh, to just throw in a car and then take with us, because even in summer the wind near sea it's quite cold, and I would like to have longer walks and don't freeze in the end. Yes, so that's my first finished object, and yeah, rub blanket. I don't know how to call this better, but I'm happy that I finished this and I really like it. My second finished object, and I have just two finished objects, so yeah. My second finished object is the hat. It's called Musselburgh Hat, and previously I showed you this one. It was my second Musselburgh Hat and I really like it, and I had leftover of yarn, but I knew that that wasn't enough for the whole hat. But anyway, I started that hat and it's looked like that, and it's like, oh yeah, you get enough yarn, but no, I didn't get enough yarn, so I was figuring out how to make this right. So yes, I have darker color inside hat, so I add this color, and I was showing you these two colors last time, and I thought maybe I will do stripes or something else, but no, I used this inside, but that wasn't also enough. So basically I put the darker yarn also here when you under the fold, but in the way that you cannot see this when you just look on that. So like that, it have darker color inside and have darker color under the brim, but when you fold the brim, all you can see is just this light color. So basically now I have two of this light beige color hat, and I really like them. Yeah, I also tried that hat last weekend. It's still not that warm here. That's surprising me, but yeah, that's just like that. And now I have more of this yarn. I don't know how much it's here, but I basically have one cone of this yarn back. Yeah, I don't know the content of this yarn or something like that. I expect that it's wool and nylon, but also can be angora because it's have like some halo. I don't know if you can see this great or no, but yeah, it's really soft and nice, and I wash it. It's not overstretching, and it's not getting too tight, so gauge is basically almost the same as before you knit. So I will use that yarn for more hats. And for me now, Musselburgh Hat, it's something like a sock. The most important thing what you should do is like cast on, because they use circular cast on, and then yeah, make increases, and after this it's just like a big tube what you're supposed to knit. So yeah, for me now it's something really easy and something what I can do when I'm reading something or something like that. One more project what I'm working on now is the socks. After I finish the wrap and the hat, I thought like I should cast on some more projects, some new project, but then I went on my project page and look for the project what aren't finished yet, and I found out that I have around 11, if I remember right. I thought I had 11 projects what I started but didn't finish, and I decided that there's a time when I start to pick up some of this project and or finish them or rip it back, or like finish or rip it, or decide what to do with that. So yeah, there was the socks what I started to knit before Christmas, and my daughter wanted to have long socks. She had one from like really colorful yarn, like to knee, or she thought even over the knee and higher knee, and they was needed to be black. So I bought black yarn, and then I was wanted to find the recipe for that, the pattern, but I didn't find anything was that what I was expected, because I thought I will start with toe and then will be going up, and mostly all patterns that was available was top down, and when you start with the cuff and going down, and I didn't know how to measure properly with that, and I thought if I start with toe I can just measure when I should increase stitches to suit right. Yeah, so I started back that time with toe up, and then started to figure it out how to make increases and all this, but that didn't work out back that time, and there was a winter, and there was really a short time when to knit with black yarn is actually something what is suitable for eyes. So I left that project back that time, but I decided to pick up it again, and yeah, I can show that I finished one sock. It look really skinny, but it's actually sit right on the leg. It's knitted in a rib, like 2x1 rib. I think that's why it looked that skinny. So I make some notes on my project page how I knitted. I basically start with a toe, then increase to the stitch count what I needed. And for these socks, I decided to go with 56 stitches. Then I made the 2x1 rib on the front, and on back just plain stockinette stitch. Then I went with German short row heel, and then I continue all leg in 2x1 rib. And then in some moment when I was trying this all the time, and in some moment when I feel like there was a time to increase the fabric, I started to increase in the back, and this markers show it. It's not really shown on this black yarn, but I just pick one stitch to be a central stitch, and then I was adding 2 stitches every 10 rows. Yes, and just putting them in a pattern. So sometimes that was purl stitch, sometimes it was knit stitch. And yeah, and then I went to the high what they should be, and then I switched to 1x1 rib and bind off this with tubular bind off. Yeah, and they said right. I didn't wash them yet because I want to finish 2 and then look. And I basically went for I basically went for second ball. It was 50-gram balls. Yarn look like that, and it's like sock yarn. It have 75% superwash wool and 25 nylon, and going 210 meters per 50 gram. And that's yarn what I bought previously in the shop where they selling products for buildings. Yeah, something like that. So I basically went for second ball when I already was on the ribbing. Yeah, so as for me, quite long socks as for 50-gram yarn of ball. And yes, after I finished these socks, I decided to went to cast on second, and they going really fast. I think if that was normal sock, that I will finish the socks in like 2 days. So basically now I'm on the point when I should already make increases here on the back. So as you see, I marked this middle stitch, and yeah, so now I just, if that was simple sock, normal sock, that I already will be making a ribbon and be finished with this, but now it's still going up, making increases, and then we'll go cuff and we'll be also finished with this. Yeah, I don't know how much yarn I will use, because I start first with that ball what already was started, because I knew that one ball will not be enough, so I decided first to go with that. And when I was buying yarn, I bought 4 balls. So I expect that I will have one fully left, and I will use some of this yarn. So I think that there will be plenty yarn to make one more pair, but like normal size socks. So yeah, maybe that will be a black socks for, I don't know, my husband or father or something like that. I think the man always likes some black socks. Yeah, so basically I'm working now just on that and on my cozy memory blanket. Yeah, I tried to work more on it this year. I was really wanted to finish this until Christmas. Then in Christmas time I already can start new advent calendar with new blanket. But I don't think that will gonna happen. As I told before, I'm trying to use one yarn not just one time, and then just placing them in different places to get like 2 or 3 squares in one color. But I measure this on the bed, how I like it. I change a little how I want to place this. So before I was measuring that I need 3 row in a high, and then 3 row on the side, and then I will be finished. but I decided to use this differently on the bed, and now I need just one row on the side, but I probably will need much more as 3 rows in length, because before I was wanted to use this to cover a part of a bed, and now I think it will be nice if that will cover bed completely. So yeah, I will need some more rows on top, and I'm struggling now to pick up some yarn what I don't have somewhere close to the top, and yeah, so I will do my best. I'm going through my old yarn for the blanket is lying in a big basket, but that's what I'm doing now. I'm pick up in the yarn, placing this I'm placing the blanket on the bed, then I'm pick up in yarn from my big basket and trying to place them in a way in a place where I can knit them. So I don't know how you can see this right, but like here, no, you cannot see. Here in the back I pick up some yarn what wasn't like used clothes in, then I place this how it should be knitted where, and then I make a picture to remember that, and then just knitting them in. But I'm probably now in a place where I don't have anymore some yarn that wasn't used previously, and yeah, so probably I will knit what I can, and then we'll wait to the next Christmas to get more yarn, or I don't know, probably maybe I should look for some place where I can exchange yarn with people, or I don't know, buy some mini skein or buy someone's leftover yarn to finish this blanket. But yeah, I cannot show you how big it is now, but it's quite big now. I have king size bed, I think. No, queen. We had king size. We make it smaller. So yeah, it's not covered yet, but it's close to that. I just want to know that it's not just covering top mattress, but it's also going folding a little to cover all mattress, and that's a lot of work. And I'm using needles what is smaller as 2 millimeters to get like tight gauge, and yes, that's taking time, but that was kind of like all my knitting project. I think next time I will be already finished this long socks, and probably will pick up some project from that what I was working before on to finish some. It feels nice when I don't have too much started projects around, then I know that I can just start something fresh without thinking that I have project lying down somewhere and don't gonna be finished. Yes, other than that was all. I hope you all well, and see you next time. Hi.